Let's talk about the Dragons-Roosters match. Dylan Napa was put on report for this tackle on Tane Milne. Are you in support of that decision made by the on-field ref?
Yeah, certainly am. Obviously there was contact made by Napa that was high. And for the bunker to be involved in any foul play incident, it needs to be reportable. This incident, and you can see that there's contact on the head by Napa, it's a reportable offence and correctly dealt with by the officials in awarding a penalty to St George.
Okay, and following that match as well, Roosters coach Trent Robinson was very vocal about his thoughts around the referee's performance and consistency. What's your response to that?
Yeah, obviously it's difficult for me to comment exactly about the comments made by Trent after the game. But in relation to what the bunker was involved in yesterday, I was very comfortable with what they got involved in. Obviously the incident that I've just spoken about, the tackle by Dylan Napa, was a reportable offence and the bunker appropriately got involved in that. In relation to what the bunker can be involved in and not involved in, all the coaches received information about that early in March when we introduced it. We also have explained it throughout the first 8 weeks of the competition as to what they can be and can't be. Specifically in relation to foul play, the incident must be worthy of being placed on report, and this one was. In relation to his comments around the communication with captains, obviously the rules are in place around captains' communication. Appropriate times for captains to speak to the referee are set out in the rules. That relates to times like when there's a penalty, and certainly Jake Friend spoke to Ben Cummins on numerous occasions around penalties, and that was appropriate. It's not for the referee and the captain to have a debate, it's for the referee to explain the decision, and that certainly occurred yesterday. So I was comfortable with the communication with Ben and Jake during the game.
Okay, and just to note as well, we released a video last week that explains the 5 key areas where the bunker can intervene, so go to NRL.com for that one. Moving on, Friday night, Sam Burgess's tackle here, we can see it looks quite unnecessary, the force there. The live decision was to give a penalty. Are you happy with that?
Yeah, the referees on field dealt with the incident. Obviously, in relation to this, it was an unnecessary act. To complete a tackle, you only have to place your hands on a player who's in possession and on the ground, as the Brisbane Broncos player was. So for us, it's unnecessary. It led to the escalation, what occurred after, and for us, it was an appropriate decision by the referee on field.
Okay, well, there was an obstruction call from the Cowboys-Eels match that led to a Kieran Foran no try. Can you just talk us through that particular obstruction? Yeah,
in relation to this particular obstruction, there was a contact made by the Parramatta player. It impeded the ability of Morgan to continue to defend, and as a result, the live decision was overturned and a penalty awarded.
Okay, and just lastly, we saw 3 sin bins across the weekend for professional fouls. Can you talk us through each of those individually? Yeah,
obviously the one that gained the most notoriety was the Corey Norman one. That was in a try-scoring play, and the ability for the player from the Cowboys, Morgan, to score the try. Norman grabs hold of his arm and prevents him from continuing to do that. This is consistent with what we dealt with in the Melbourne Storm West Tigers game in the previous week, and it all arose out of the Warriors Roosters game a few weeks ago where we didn't put a player in the bin and I indicated that we should. So subsequently I was very comfortable with the decision made to sin bin Corey Norman. In relation to the other 2, they also related to professional fouls, which is a reason to sin bin a player. For Steve Maddai, it's a professional foul. He prevented a play the ball after a long break when the Newcastle Knights were well on the advantage. In relation to the Blake Ashford one, that one for me, there probably wasn't sufficient to sin bin. He was still in his own half, so I thought he should have been penalised for slowing the ruck, but not sin binned.
Okay, well Tony, thanks for clearing that up.
No problems.